What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Let me get to the spot. Oh, hey, everybody. I'm not going to be moving around like I usually would do. I'm just sitting in the chair because I want to have a nice conversation with you, but I want to get to some points. This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. Let's get started. All right. We're tied. We are tied again. So my question to you is, now what? All right. There's a very powerful song that I love listening to, and maybe as I'm do some edits in the future with this video, I might just add it. But it's by Donny Hathaway, and it's called "A Song for You," where he says in the song right at the beginning, he says, "I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs. I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life in stages with 10,000 people watching." And the reason why that hits so close to home to me, that's my life. I was a professional athlete, so I traveled a lot of places. And most times when I was performing, there was at least 10,000 people in stadiums. So, and I say that because I've done a lot of things, but we're tied, meaning that I'm right back here standing right next to you, which we do every single day. And so my question to you is, now what? What are you going to do? Because you see, every morning you wake up, we wake up, because there's 8 million people, somewhere around that number, 7 or 8 million people. That's a lot of people that wake up every single day. Now, the question is, how many of those people want what you want? Not in the sense of taking something from you, but what do they want in line with what you want? There's a bunch of them out there that want the same goal as you do. They're going after it. So my question is, all of you salesmen, you athletes, you business owners, you YouTubers, you guys and girls that want to get into the rap game, some sort of music industry, whatever it is you want to do, how much hungrier are you than those other people that want exactly what you want? All right. So again, we're tied. We are tied again. So what are you going to do? Now, let me give you a little kind of a speed version, like a speed dating version of what I've gone through in my life and how I've come back around. And just imagine everything that I mentioned is like a mile. Just a mile run. I'm black, pretty obvious. All right. I was born into a dysfunctional family. I was placed in special ed at a very early age because I had clear academic deficiencies in every area, to the point where it resulted in me graduating high school with a 1.51 grade point average. Now, each one of those, that's like running a mile backwards. All right. Because I'm going the other direction. OK. The beautiful thing about all what I was going through is my parents gifted me with superior athletic ability to where I got a chance to play professional baseball. And not only did I get a chance to play, I played for a decade. And in that decade, I was ranked as the #1 major league prospect in the organization I was in. I came up through the Chicago Cubs organization. And even more specifically, I was ranked as probably one of the top 10 major league prospects of every organization put together. I was a left-handed pitcher. I'm almost 6'3", and I threw dang near 100 miles an hour. Now you can think of anybody that has that skill set right now. What are they doing and how much money are they making? That's the type of ability that I had. But along the way, I got a chance to travel. I got a chance to make a lot of money. I got a chance to befriend and have relations with some of the most beautiful women there were. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. I was very lucky in that regard. But it's not about the women. But here's what happened also along that journey. I had 2 surgeries, which actually cut my career short. I probably should have played for another 10 years. Okay, maybe even 15 years I should have played for. All right. It sunk me into a deep, dark, depressive state. Now, as I sunk lower and lower in that depressive state, I end up being broke and homeless. And then that moved me further down the road to be incarcerated. So I had the highest of the highs. I've had the lowest of the lows. And while I was in prison, I was actually facing 19 to 67 years. And by a power that I'm barely able to comprehend, I was able to get a much lighter sentence. And so I took advantage of that. I took college courses. I attended counseling classes. I journaled every day just to kind of get my mind off of what was going on. I earned a business certificate, which was slightly less than an associate's degree. And I took it out, moved into a community college, transferred over to Arizona State University, and got my degree. Began the route of getting into the corporate environment, worked in some jobs. Now think about that. I had a felony conviction and I got a chance to work in some corporate environments. And it was because of the way I was able to answer that question, like, why should we hire you with a felony conviction? I answered that question in the mirror almost every day, probably the last year that I was locked up, because I knew I was going to have to answer that question. Okay, so then I started a business because I knew I needed to get out of the corporate environment because my felony conviction was going to eventually get to the point where it was going to stonewall me. I knew that. And while I was starting my own business, I actually wrote a book. Then I started another business. Then I wrote a second, a third, and a fourth book. All right. Then I created this YouTube channel and this social media presence. Now, I'm saying all that not to brag, but what I'm telling you is that if you add up each one of those, that's equivalent to running a marathon backwards. And then I had to run the marathon forward to catch back up with you all. Now I'm saying this again. We are tied. So now what are you going to do? I done ran backwards, sideways, everything but forward. But now I've run all the way back around and I've caught up to you. So now what are you going to do? All right. I used to use my past as an excuse. Are you doing that now? I used to wake up every day with this heavy chip on my shoulder, blaming the world, making a bunch of excuses. Is that what you're doing? Because that's why I was going backwards. Okay? To the point where I had backed myself up into a corner, and that corner was jail and prison. And so then I was facing 19 to 67 years. And again, by the grace of a power beyond me, I got a lighter sentence. And so I tried my best to take advantage of that. So my past now is not filled with excuses. My past is filled with fuel. Everything that I look at that I went through, I said, yep, that taught me something. I was given something, not something was taken away, not something that was holding me back. If anything, that inspires me to do great things every single day. All right. So all you salesmen, all you want to be salesmen, you want to be athletes, you want to be business owners, you want to be artists, you want to be YouTubers, anything that you are trying to do. I'm telling you, we are now tied. I done ran all around and did the dumbest things. And now I'm back here tied with you. So what are you doing? I don't know what obstacles you have in your life, but I'm saying you better not be using them as excuses because they're not helping you. And if you've not had any real serious obstacles, what are you doing with the opportunities that are presented in front of you? What are you doing? We're tied. So now what? I'm looking at you and I've been through all that. So I know, I say, hey, if we're going to face another obstacle, I'm looking at you saying, are you strong enough to jump over that obstacle, to go under it, go around? Oops. My microphone. I'm getting all hot and excited here and losing my microphone here. All right. So what are you going to do? I already know that I can get over those hurdles. So I don't care. I'm looking at the goal. And if there's something happens to get in my way, so be it. I jump over it. All right. Just like Donny Hathaway said, I've been through so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs. I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life in stages with 10,000 people watching. Time is running out on your life. Time is not running out in the world, but in your life, time is running out. So my question to you is, we are now tied. So what are you going to do? All right. So ask yourself, what are you doing every day? Because there's 8 million people waking up and they want the same thing. How hungry are you to go after that goal and get it? This is Plan Your Greatness. And I will say this again, plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. I'll see you all next time.